Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to pretty much break down the world's meta that I expect later down the line because I want the patch to settle a little bit. But we can tie this together in terms of what we know so far and maybe make estimations based off of what we see. These are also previews. We're going to do a massive meta breakdown later on, but let's just react to the changes. Ahri charm change 80, 120. I feel like this is just like kind of a 75, like the AP scaling up is kind of nice, I would say, but I don't know if it's enough. I really don't know if it's enough. I don't think this matters too much. I don't think this changes the fabric of the champion. To me, this seems like a solo queue buff more than anything else. But I have to see the item changes too, because maybe there's an opportunity in the item changes. Gnar, I think 3 AD is a massive buff. I think there's a massive buff. I think that 3 AD, considering you buy Trinity Force as well, Sheen in your kit, it scales off a base AD. All of your scalings are also like total AD. I think that this is a very, very good buff. This is a very, very solid buff. Not as a champion that got weaker because Fleet Footwork got changed, right? Fleet Footwork got nerfed due to like range champs, as far as I understand. And Gnar got hit by that change. But I think that Gnar is a champion that can be used to pick into K'Sante, picked into Renekton. And I think that, the usual suspects, I think that Gnar has some spots. My main issue with Gnar as a champion currently is the fact that, over time he falls off a cliff. I think that right now, top lane is in a weird state because I think that a lot of these top lanes that people are picking are very, very hard to execute. I think that it's very, very clear, like top lane gap in terms of like gameplay, because you need to be like really good at team fighting with like Gnar, Kennen, and Renekton to actually be useful. Like the line between you running it down and being useful is very, very like narrow, K'Sante is like the go-to blind, I think, for weaker top lanes because it's very easy to be effective with him, right? You can just kind of frontline and keep it simple. But this is an interesting change. I think this is like Gnar will be played with the Worlds for sure. The pool of reflections, shield strength for allies. Like, I don't know, like we're playing Quay support. I don't give a fuck about this change. Pointless. Grandmaster at arms on hit base damage. Okay, 10 up at rank 2 and rank 3. And then bonus armor per target hit 20. Okay. I don't think this changes the state of the champ. I don't think this is too exciting. To the skies, melee Q, 5% slow up, movement speed up 5%. Well, this is kind of neat. This is kind of neat. I don't know. It's like we're trying to connect. I think mid lane Jace is kind of dead in my opinion. I think it's just as a laner he's too weak. But top lane Jace definitely has like opportunities. Like especially because we mentioned, I think these buffs are kind of nice because I think Jace is something that can be picked into Jax, can be picked into Gnar, can be picked into Renekton, can be picked into Kennen, but it requires a lot of finesse. But I think these buffs are very welcome. I think this is very, very solid. I think that this is very interesting. I think that Jace is a champion that could show up at the World Championship. Attack speed per level, 1.4 up from 1. I think the main issue right now with Jinx is that in the current state of the game, with how mid lane is, I wouldn't be surprised if we see mid Jinx before we see Jinx bot. That might sound crazy, but like, just in terms of how the meta game is, you have the situation where bot lane needs to be ready to play in isolation because the support decision is way more important than the economy of the AD. In previous, like last year, it was all about AD economy and XP management of your support. That was the most important thing in the game. But I would be ready to see a Jinx mid before anything else, Like a Jinx mid, I think that could happen before Jinx is useful bot, So it's like, think about the champions that are being played right now in AD. You have Misfortune, you have Jhin, Ashe, Ziggs. Jinx sucks ass against everything. Absolutely everything. So I think this champion is just kind of dead right now before like items are going to get changed and reworked again, I think this champion is kind of dead. I think that the lethal tempo nerf, no Gale Force, like all of these things that solved all the issues for Jinx, made her a lot weaker. Lulu, Pig's Fairy Companion, passive, damage per bolt, 3 to 5, 3-9. Trying to think where we could play Lulu. I just don't think that's going to ever show up, you know? Like when are we picking Lulu? Is like into Alistar maybe, could pick Lulu. But even then, it's very rare that you have like the comp integrity to slot in a Lulu. So I don't think this matters too much. 9% to 10% max health. Like I mentioned, Jace. Like Jace could be something that is blinded. Maybe Malphite into Gnar is something that could be picked. Malphite into Kennen. Malphite definitely has like, you know, situation where he could be picked. He could be picked. Samira, base damage is unchanged. AD scaling is up in early levels. Basically, this is total AD. So, it's like okay. It's like okay. I don't think it's too shabby. This is like okay. I think this is still, I don't see when I would want to pick it. I think this champion is just impossible to balance, because if this champion is useful in pro play, it means that it's completely sister-fisting solo queue. So I think this is one of those champions where I think from Riot side, it's like, how the fuck do you buff Samira for pro play? Like how do you buff pro play and not have that impact solo queue? I just don't see that being possible. All right, key barrier passive, 47 to 120, 13% bonus HP. Shen is something that could maybe show up. I wonder how useful Shen jungle is. I think the issue of Shen jungle right now is that Bami is just too shit of an item to buy, and he can't buy Liandry's. Don't even try. I think that support Shen could be interesting in some spots, but I think a little bit too flash reliant, and I think that other supports could just have more impact, you know? I don't know if there's like room for some super redemption Shen, you know? But I just don't see why I would want to play Shen over other supports, because the global ability is completely irrelevant. Why is Shen's global ability completely irrelevant? Because him TPing to a situation where he needs to be, he should be there in the first place, because he has no impact anywhere else than the place where he should be. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's say your jungle and mid is on top. Like, do you think with Shen you're going to gank enemy top laner and then ult top? Like, that's the best case scenario, but that's just so rare, you know? I just don't see Shen being strong enough to be able to do that in the current state like of the game. But I could see the W, you know, the W is a very unique spell that can be very good into certain things. Like if like the W is a very unique spell in terms of the dodge mechanic, and there's definitely like spots where like, wow, this fucking W value is crazy. I think there was that Korea game that was played when he played Shen. So there's that, you know. I think just the issue is the items that Shen wants to buy in lane have all been like nerfed. Like if you think about solo lane Shen. But we shall see. Base attack damage up, 3 damage up. That's also pretty fucking a lot, man. 3 base damage for champions that buy Trinity Force. I think that's a pretty big buff. I wonder if this, you know, when I think about like all the changes, we have to see the nerfs, right, to junglers that are appearing here. It's just that I'm thinking about Viego and the pairing with, for example, Ahri and Lissandra that got buffed on 14-16. Maybe there's an opportunity for a shift. I like the approach that Riot has taken in terms of trying to make sure that champions don't get pushed out of the meta completely, and they're trying to inch slowly everything into a position where everything is at an equilibrium, because I think this is an approach that has worked quite well in my opinion. I think that we have had a great AD carry diversity, we've had great jungle diversity, and I think that the main places where you could maybe see some changes is mid and top, but I think that even in support we've had some diversity, so I think that this approach has yielded some fruit. Now, the main question is if they have been way too conservative leading up to the World Championship, that now at the World Championship, maybe we're going to have a repetition of the same. Xin Zhao, armor growth up, 3 Talon Strike. I think the issue with Xin Zhao and a lot of AD junglers that are not Viego and Vi is the fact that their scaling in terms of their clear is just so unbelievably ass. It's like you have 0 windows to do anything, and the point of this champion is to do something. That's the main issue. Like if we had an AD variant of Fated Ashes, champions like Xin Zhao and Jarvan would just completely 1v9. Timeout is a piece of shit item, don't even mention it. It's like Xin Zhao, Jarvan want to be busy, can't be busy because, like, imagine you want to start a YouTube channel, but you work 2 jobs and you have 3 children. You're going to give the most tired version of yourself in that fucking YouTube channel. Like there's nothing there, you know. It's so tough, it's so rough. Sometimes you make it big, you get a double kill on a bot gank after full clear, your level 3 gank lands, sure, and that's your YouTube career, but the odds of this working is super low. In terms of the buffs, 3 Talon Strike, damage up 4, 42, which is 8, 55, okay, 68, okay. Maximum bonus damage, alright. Okay. Just thinking if there's a place for Xin Zhao in lane, but I think his mana costs are too shit. Okay. Between worlds, jump max distance 450 to 250. Wall jump forgiveness 450. Duration. Ooh. Damn, they really took Aurora out the back and shot her in the head. But I think it's deserved. I think that the rules was way too fucking game warping. Kind of weird now, we haven't seen her in pro play, but I think they should have even shot her in the head even harder, because like you want to make the claim that champions that are reworked like anew are only going to be at the World Championship if they played in major region, but Aurora arguably wasn't played in major region because of the fucking bug, right? So I think this champion should just be shot in the head so they don't have to explain why they disabled this champ. Just shoot it in the head. Even harder, bro. Just fucking take a shotgun. Aurora brains all over the wall. Emperor's Divide. Damn, they were quick to nerf Azir. Very quick to nerf Azir. Azir got a buff on armor, but I think the bigger buffs to Azir were the nerfs to everybody else. So there's that. That's a pretty hefty nerf in terms of base damage. Like, looking at these numbers, they are kind of wild. They are kind of wild. Like, considering there's an AoE spell, right? The base damage going up to 600. That is like one of the highest base damage AoE spells in the game, if not the highest base damage AoE skill in the game. Obviously, like, that's Rumble or whatever the fuck, but like this does look pretty damn high. I do think that Azir is a champion that, with the nerfs to everything else, will do well. So I'm kind of happy that Riot is getting ahead of it. But I don't like why is the Azir picture so tilted? Do you guys see this shit? Am I crazy? Phosphorus Bomb, 20 damage down. I think still playable and chilling. Trigger Seed. I think that the nerf that Maokai deserves is the fact that if E breaks, the shield shouldn't go again. Why? I really hate the mechanic that if Trigger Seed doesn't do damage, that it triggers the shield again. I think that's insanely dangerous. I think that you need to remove that shit, in my opinion. I think that shouldn't be in the game. Someone told me in the chat that some of the changes are different, so I'm going to make sure. I'm going to make sure that we don't miss anything. So let me pull up the here. Okay. We missed so many changes, actually. We missed so many changes. Yeah, this is just ass. This page sucks. Okay. So Lulu we covered, Jinx we covered, Melee we covered, this buff to Jace. Passive damage up for Jarvan, okay. Increases clear, I don't think this is enough, but maybe. It all comes down to like where Lissandra lands. I just think that this is not the meta for these champs, bro. Like, look at the mid laners that are being played, man. Smolder, Corki, Zeri, all these champions have jumps. No one gives a fuck about Javan's existence. Q damage we talked about, P shield, Viego, armor growth. I think the only thing that we miss is Javan, right? Javan passive up. It's just increased clear, okay. I think that Javan, another one of those champions that I could imagine that in lower elo does much better. We continue. All right. So Aurora, murdered. We talked about it. Let's talk about... So Corki damage 20 down, Ivan shield, E slow also down. I think legit just remove the mechanic that if you don't break the Ivan shield, like if you break the Ivan shield, don't let it pop again. I think really, why does it pop again if it breaks? I really hate that. I really hate that. Armor down, 4 armor down for Leona. That's a pretty fucking big nerf. Big nerf, 4 armor, it's a shit ton in my opinion. I think that's a pretty hefty nerf. This is just going to make like Leona better. I mean, sorry, Nautilus better. Like Nautilus is going to be picked, which opens up for Renata and makes Braum stronger, shit like this. I think support blind is going to come down to Braum ban into big support, pretty much. Okay. P monster cap 70 to 100, 65, R sleep duration to 2, okay. Okay. Like if I had to choose post brand nerfs and Zyra nerfs, probably Lilia is the strongest AP jungle. So maybe there's an opening to play more of the AD shit, you know? More of the AD shit might just come through. Q AP ratio down, 85 to 75. 85 sounds so fucking high, by the way. Well, Lissandra has gotten so many buffs. I think this champion, maybe there's room to play like Lissandra fucking Viego, you know? Maybe, just maybe. You play Lissandra, Viego, Renata. There's no way a composition like that can be weak, no? Like there has to be someone bold enough to fucking get in there, you know? Get in there. E cooldown up, E brush duration. What the fuck? This is the Maokai nerf. What the fuck? This is the Maokai nerf, man. Okay. Alright. AD down, Misfortune, 2 AD. I think that's a decent nerf. I think MF is really strong, but I don't think it's Giga OP. I have to see like what the changes are here to the items, because like I see BT, and that's like a really big deal for MF. E initial damage, E DPS down, E maximum damage. Ooh. They're trying to be very careful about how they nerf the E, but I think if E damage is down, I do think that Nasus will have a much harder time overcoming the hump. It's like, Nasus is a very strong scaling champ, right? And what makes him OP right now is that he's strong early too because of Emax. That's all. And I think it's a deserved nerf. It's a deserved nerf. I think that you could still get away with probably playing the same way though. I don't see how this is going to incentivize me to max any other spell. I still think that I would max E. Like I do a little bit less damage. Maybe I have to fine tune my runes. I do think that what it comes down to is like what happens to Fleet here. I need to see what happens to Fleet. Because if Fleet is nerfed, then Nasus should be fine. Okay, so here's another super nerf. Initial E move speed down, maximum E move speed down. I think Rel is chilling, I think that's okay. Rumble, finally Rumble. We're taking him out the back. Q damage 80 to 180 plus 110% AP plus max HP. 20 damage down and 10% AP scaling on max damage. E damage down. Ooh. We're getting somewhere, guys. We're getting somewhere here with the Rumble changes. We're getting here with the Rumble changes. I still think Rumble should be played. Honestly, I still think Rumble should be played. I don't think this is enough to kill him. I think Rumble's still gonna be OP. I'm not gonna lie. Rumble is that OP that I think this is going to keep him there. This is gonna keep him there. No joke. Especially like Rumble and Kennen are going to allow you to play Viego, Vi, Maybe like in cases where Jarvan is useful. Like they're buffing, like a lot of the AP jungles have gotten nerfs. And Rumble is going to be such a massive enabler. Like that's the key thing that I'm thinking about here, is that in a world where we're nerfing all the AP jungle and you're playing AD mid and you don't have access to Ziggs, like imagine you play Rumble, Skarner jungle, and then you play Tristana mid or Corki mid, right? You're very happy, you get the AP damage from Rumble. I think that Rumble is too perfect for the meta to give up on, in my opinion. Smolder, Q damage down, total AD, 5 damage down, okay. AP ratio is removed, okay. So that kind of kills the Liandry build, but I don't think that you're ever reliant on Liandry. Like you're never reliant on Liandry. So that's okay. I don't think that part matters. I think that Smolder should still be played in the same spots. Varus. Varus got so giga buffed, it was insane. Like if you guys got some elo playing Varus with the QAD ratio, God bless you. I think that Varus fits exactly into the mold. The lethality Varus fits exactly in the mold of what I have talked about for so long. Enabling your support, clearing mid waves, playing good in isolation, win lane, good with low economy. I think Qmax Varus with lethality is something that makes a lot of sense to me to be played. I think this still lands him relatively okay, I think. Q minimum damage, 5 down, maximum damage, 10. I think, like, the moments I pick Vi, I'm not going to pick Vi less because of this. P damage down, let's see, Zeri, P damage down, target max HP, 75. Ooh, the fucking passive damage got shot in the fucking forehead. Damage scaling, stat growth, linear, level 6. Oof. 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 Okay. That's a pretty solid size nerf in my opinion. Passive structure mod 250% to 175. Ooh. Wait, I don't understand how this is counted. So because this is the structure, right? It does more damage to structures, the passive. That's what I understand. But this portion, is this just the base numbers? The passive, like in combat? Like this is just Ziggs combat stats, right? This has nothing to do with the structure. This is just plain and simple Ziggs passive. Let me just pull up LoL Wiki just to be sure. LoL Wiki Ziggs. I don't want to misunderstand something here. So, based on level, increased by 150% against structures. So basically, they're just showing the calculation. Okay, they're just showing the calculation. They're showing the calculation. That's all. Lowering it by 75%, they're showing like what it actually means. Okay, that's all. They're not nerfing the Ziggs damage in combat. This is just like, this is what it actually does. Okay, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Ziggs deserves to be nerfed in a map trading meta, for sure. Okay, let's take a look at these items. Luden's Companion, 50 gold down, haste for AP. I think for the people that want to buy Luden's, I think that's usually a welcome change, especially because you have good item choice in slot number 2. I think the best items in the game that mid laners can buy are the slot item, like the second slot item. I think that's what makes it so hard to balance, because Hourglass is one of the most game warping items in the game. I think Horizon Focus is really, really strong. You have Cosmic Drive, super fucking strong. You have Liandry, probably the best AP item in the game by far, right? And I think the issue is the Mythic system worked so well for AP carries because their first item was Giga OP and everything else was kind of, you know, there was a clear trade-off. Now, it's like the trade-off is that your first item is so ass that you only get power in your second slot. But the issue is these second slot items, you can't really fill out your inventory with them because you want to land on Deathcap Void stuff, right? And that is where, in my mind, you have the issue. I think the Mythic system was really good for AP mid. And I think that they are the ones that missed the Mythics the most, because what Mythic allowed you to do was it allowed items in isolation to be insanely strong. Like if you could, in the previous patch, where there was Mythic, right? Mythic items. If you could buy Ludens, Liandrys, it would be the most broken shit ever because of how strong they were, right? Fuck you. Fly. Okay. Shadowflame. Magic Pen up, Cinderbloom threshold, Cinderbloom dot amp. Cinderbloom dot amp. Amplify dot. Dot amp. Cinderbloom. Max damage, true damage against enemies below 35% health for 170% damage, increased to 130 for damage over time effects and damage dealt by pets. Oh, I didn't know this aspect was there. The dots did more damage when they crossed the threshold. Okay. Once again, it's like Shadowflame is a slot 2 item. I already mentioned those items are so OP. It's so hard to ever justify buying Shadowflame over the other items. It's like maybe an occasional Akali, occasional Kennen can buy this, an occasional what else? That's it, really, no? It's such an expensive item, and Shadowflame becomes outdated way too quickly. It just becomes outdated way too quickly. I think that's the danger for me when it comes to this item. It's like you buy it, it's like you would want to have this item first. That's the weird part about this item. You want to buy this first. But can you buy this first? I don't know. Like maybe we're gonna see some goofy like Syndra with fucking Mana Flow Band and cookies, and you buy Shadowflame first. You don't have, maybe there's some like weird shit that you can pull like this, you know? Maybe. Another thing that makes Shadowflame worse, and also Storm Surge worse, but at the same time, I guess Mercs did indeed get nerfed in the same vein. There's a world where maybe... I'm just thinking about Sorcerer Shoes because they lost 3 pen. And that's what you're getting back here. So pen is better with pen, right? Because of the percentage damage increase. I don't know. Maybe like a LeBlanc, Syndra. Like that's where I'm going with my mind, you know? Maybe you can get away with that. Maybe Syndra LB, maybe they're just being a little bit pushed over the edge here with the AP jungle nerfs and the AD buff. Maybe. I could see a world where the shift happens. I could see a world, man. Okay, Magic Pen, 10 to 15. Bah. 10 to 15. 15 pen. Okay. Move speed down. Fuck the move speed. Storm rated threshold. 10% squall range effectiveness, 100%. 5 magic pen. 5 magic pen. Storm. Is this item just going to be OP? Storm Surge. 10 magic pen. Okay. So something that's weird to me is like, why do both of these items exist? Why do both of these items exist? I don't understand why both of these items exist. Why the fuck do both of these items exist? I don't get it. They are the same item. They're the same item, and one is going to end up being better. I can't see a scenario where it's not true. I can't see it. I wonder. I'm very curious. I'm very curious if the Ludens change and the Shadowflame Storm Surge rework and the AP jungles being nerfed. I wonder if this is enough to revitalize the meta a little bit. Like, are we going to see Syndra, Lissandra, LeBlanc Renaissance? Permanent resists per destroyed turret plate 40 to 50. Temporary resist per destroyed plate for 20, 45 to 20. Okay. Do they write anything? Lane swaps. As the league has matured, players and teams have gotten much better at utilizing resisting lane swaps as well as min-maxing lane swaps. This has gotten to the point where teams are willing to go down 3-4 plays to avoid certain matchups, which results in low interaction states. If you sign up to watch 3v0s, and I don't think pro players sign up to play that either. The changes here are making taking the first play in top take twice as long. I think this doesn't fucking matter, by the way. You know, let me explain it to you guys. Maybe, oh shit. Maybe Riot will watch this video, okay? What is strong about lane swap currently, right, is like, in a lot of cases, you're swapping against a lane that would get platings anyway, right? What you gain from top lane swapping is that enemy top lane is out of position. Enemy top lane is completely out of position. That is the problem. Top lane can play mind games. They can hover around in these areas, they can ward here, you can Ashe E here, right, and spot. Because the enemy is stacking wave and you want to run away from the turret and you can be in between. But in most cases, what top laners do is they try to cross and they try to help. But currently, in terms of how XP share, a long time ago in the season, they increased the XP that supports get in lane, right? They changed the XP that you get as a duo, which means that when the top laner and the AD carry, what the fuck am I doing? They are sharing XP, they are getting so much XP for the top lane. So now this top lane is completely out of position. You're hitting the platings here, and the enemy bot lane is going to walk into here, and they're going to try to defend. The key thing that you get from lane swap is that you get initiative. You can invade into top side while the many is ready, and the top lane is going to be just in a bad state in most cases. You can play some mind games here, right? You can sit here, get some XP. You can sit here, get some XP. Like, there's some silly things you can do, right? For sure. But the point is, enemy top lane walks away. The top lane starts to share XP with the AD, pushes the enemy top lane out. He shares XP. You get level 3. Big wave stacking. Cancel recall. The enemy guy walks in here. In a lot of cases, need to use TP. and then he's bouncing a wave out while being weaker. And then the question is, can your bot lane punish enemy bot lane with an item advantage? In most cases, no, because the advantage of getting the platings is not there. It's not there. The platings don't matter. Getting one plating here was never the mission. You didn't give a fuck about this. You really didn't. You only care about the initiative and skipping past platings. You don't buff platings to solve this. You can put restrictions on the game, which is really boring, right? Just put full-on restrictions that make you not be able to do this completely, right? In my mind, trying to think of what is the most elegant solution. What is the most elegant solution? Like, you don't want to put restrictions that people can't go top, you know? You can't do dive protection either, right? You can't do dive protection either, sorry, Dorpel. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think the key thing is just that we don't see extended lane swaps anymore. And I think like skipping the first 3 minutes of the game, I think is perfectly fine. I do agree with the notion that it's not that big of a problem. I don't think it's that big of a problem. I just think like every solution is so unelegant and makes the game so much more cluttered. Yeah. I think maybe, yeah, like making the shared XP restricted to the super role definitely could be like a solution. But the thing is like the enemy top laner suffers from that change too. That's like the issue, you know? Make minions spawn 1 minute later. Well, how does that solve anything? You want junglers to be level 3 on the first wave? Yeah, like you just have all the laners like leashing for the jungler. You do like 4 camps at the same time. I think this doesn't change anything, guys. Damage reduction for the first 5 minutes, 75 to 85. That's pretty far. That's crazy. That's crazy turret fortification, by the way. All right, free for walk. Melee champion heal, 5 to 100, 10 to 130. Okay. God bless Akali, God bless Nasus, God bless Jax in some matchups. Range champion heal, 5 to 100, 6 to 78. Ooh. Melee minion heal modification, 20 to 15. Range minion heal mod, 10 to 15. Melee move speed, 15 to 20. Range move speed unchanged. All right, that's the big nerf. That's the big nerf, guys. That's the big nerf for the boys in the mid lane, the 80 boys in the mid lane. But enter Grasp of the Undying. Welcome. Welcome, Grasp of the Undying. Be a part of the family. Lifesteal 18 to 15%, shield 50 to 400, 165, 315, level 8, shield value 1.94, 194, 165. Okay, I do think that BT was a little bit too strong, and I am surprised though that they nerfed the higher end of the shield so hard. I guess that's a nerf to the AD mids too. It's like, I thought the issue was that BT was being purchased early by Draven and MF, and that was a little bit too strong for MF specifically. I thought that was the target, but they just nerfed this item across the board because it seems like they believe that it's problematic as well as a third item buy for Koki, Tristana, whoever the fuck, which is fair. A shield 320 to 720, 320 to 560, shield melee 320 to 720, 400 to 700. Another thing about I didn't mention, but about the melee champion heal, like this is very nice for Yasuo and Yone as well. I didn't mention that, so that's a very nice change. Melee is getting unchanged here, just partially. I think just that the 400 shield start, I think probably that doesn't matter too much because this is a second purchase, the shield bow. I don't know why they put the shield bow immortal. Why did not you just write immortal shield bow? Shield bow, parentheses, immortal. Okay, it was just a nerf to AD mids again. I do think that Zeri got away with not buying it in a lot of cases. Tristana didn't want to buy it as much. I think Koki doesn't give a fuck about this change at all. You never bought his own Koki. I wonder. I just wonder if the changes, the nerfs and the buffs have met now at a point where we have balance, or if there's a tipping point, or if things are going to remain the same. It's so hard to judge based off of the numbers alone, because they have been so incremental over the last couple of patches that I don't know exactly where we're gonna land. We just have to pay attention to solo queue and see like where we're going, because I do think that solo queue began to show hints of like some of these AP mid laners actually doing well, you know? You have Syndra doing quite well. Lissandra is doing quite well. You have, I think LeBlanc did a lot better on the previous patch. There she is. So the question is if this is enough, you know, if this is enough to push the equilibrium over the board, where we're going to have Syndra, LB, because it's like you have 80 jungle buffs. You have AP mid item changes, AD mid nerfs, all at the same time. It could just be the perfect storm to change the whole game altogether. It could be. It could be. It could be, my friends. It could be. It could be. I'm really, really curious to see where it lands. Really curious. I guess we will just have to see. Buffing for Faker tier 1 and it's so blatant. How is this buffing for Faker? Like, if anything, this is like just a Billy buff, no? Like Billy, like if it really pushes the tipping point, I think that Bilibili is the happiest. They have Way and Night. Bilibili is giga happy. They have like the best Syndra player in the world. They have an insane LeBlanc player. They have Way, like the god of fucking AD junglers, you know? And you have like some Gnar buffs, Jax buffs for your boy Mr. Bin. Is DK buffs? DK will go to Worlds. I love Showmaker, but he's not that guy, you know? He's not that guy anymore. Bro, maybe they want Bilibili to win Worlds, bro.